Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round number 8 of 30 here for the 2023 NSCA Cup Series season. I'm once again joined by Cody Goforth as we get set for the 2023 MOBIL 1 Cape Cod 250. Cody, thank you for joining me.
Hey, appreciate you having me, man. I'm excited for this.
Now, of course, Cape Cod originally built for Formula One, and Formula One never came here though. When they were trying to revitalize and try and figure out other places to go after leaving Indianapolis, so it is an FIA Grade One circuit. But like I said, Formula One never came here, but it has not necessarily been unused, as there have been multiple racing series here, particularly MotoGP, and now, as of today, NSCA stock cars. So, Cody, what can you tell us about this track?
I don't really, I know a little bit less than you do, but I do know that it's gonna be a very tight racetrack. Gonna be very important to make your moves early, and because it's gonna be difficult to pass. So it should be very excited as we see Hunter Kiro on the front row.
Yep, and alongside him is going to be Darren Armstrong, Crago, and Heflin round out row number 2. Of course, Crago won the previous week at Pocono. Then you have Bishop and Theodore Cox, another row of teammates. Then you have Hancock and Theodore Keene in row number 4. Cody Goforth and Steve Merzlik will round out the top 10. Amy Walsh uh, had basically just retired mid-season, so Cody Goforth will be replacing her in that number 44 car. Then to round out the top 15, you have English, Foxon, Lamas, Nomina, and Vaughn. So as you said, it is a tight road course, and that is very much true. And of course, due to behind-the-scenes stuff, they kind of had to split the field here, which honestly still realistic. I'm not gonna lie, but anyways, let's go ahead and get this race started as the back of the field now tries to catch up with the front. So,
Looks like they looks like they're gonna do it.
yep.
Down the long front straightaway, and the field's in their hands, and they are green flag racing here in Cape Cod. Great start by the 92 as they head off into what I feel like is a very slow, tight left-hand turn in turn one.
Yeah, having turned laps around this track earlier today in the pace car, yeah, that is very much the case. As now they head down the second straightaway into arguably the second best passing opportunity. Armstrong able to hang on the second. Crago still side by side with Heflin for third as they narrow through the chicane out of the hairpin and down towards turn 6, I believe it is.
Yeah, that would be turn 6 right there. Field's starting to get single file, but the 62 is still just digging his nose right where it doesn't belong, trying to get that spot. I believe that was P3.
Yep.
He's got, they had the advantage into this corner. It's gonna be down the straightaway. That's a very high speed corner. You gotta hit it perfectly though in order to make the move.
Yep.
13 has the advantage into I believe that's turn 9. 62 is really good at braking. Wow, really hard on the brakes.
Last of the late breakers, to quote Bobby Rick. Ooh, 3 wide. Lamas gets into the grass to try and send it into that corner there. Not able to complete the move, though. And it's going to be Vaughn who clears Nomina there.
That was never gonna work by Llamas.
Surprised it didn't cause a wreck, to be honest. But hey, you know what? They're all still going straight. So hey, still worked out. Just in
Got very lucky.
Yeah, very lucky indeed. As we complete lap number 1, I totally forgot to turn on the ticker, so sorry to the audience.
We see a couple side-by-side battles. 13 is holding off the 62, trying to make something out of the 84. Started to close in on the 92 a little bit, though.
Yep.
Slowly but surely.
And gonna briefly freeze the thing here because I do need to refresh the cache for the track condition here. There we go. All right, so now fans can see that it is green flag racing. And interesting that the 15, who is sponsored by Mobile One, is running 5th at the race, sponsored by Mobile One. Hashtag rigged, hashtag not actually not.
Hashtag rigged.
Now, one thing I do want to point out, Cody, is that these cars are running the third and arguably the most controversial of the aero packages for the cars this season. As you can see, they have the big COT wing that was infamous at the start of the Gen 4 era, Gen 4 being Gen 5 in my league's universe, and whatnot, and has mixed reactions from both fans and drivers. Tell us about it.
I mean, we've seen that the wing does provide a lot of downforce, but if a car gets backwards at a high rate of speed, which I doubt we're going to be seeing here, that car has the tendency to get airborne. And we see a couple of people making some really good moves. Really strong showing by that 44 Cody Goforth filling in, taking over mid-season. Very impressive.
Yeah, I currently scored 9th across the line here as we start lap number 4, I believe it is.
Would be lap number 4. See, as you see, just this wing is just providing a lot of downforce, and it actually helps the drivers see a little bit better through the front wind, through that back glass, through all the way through the car, so they can maybe see the car that's in front of the car in front of them just a little bit better. I mean, it's still a lot of the drivers have been complaining that it makes the cars just way too tight sometimes a little bit loose, and it's so hard to adjust with that wing right there.
Yep. And as you said, the wing did cause a bunch of issues back when we ran it full time with the COT. As you said, the car could get airborne as the wing did block air getting to the roof flap safety devices that keep cars planted to the ground. Well, that's one of the reasons why these cars are only running them on the road courses, because a lot less speed that these cars travel around these circuits.
And I noticed some of the teams have put like have put like the sponsor decals on the side, and others haven't. That's a very interesting thing that NSCA allows.
Actually, all of them have.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah,
I just know some. I couldn't tell from the angle up here in the booth.
I know they're very small because it's a very small end plate compared to other series like Formula One or IndyCar even, but they have them there.
Looks like the field has started to single file out and start trying to log laps here.
Yep.
I do not believe we have a pit stop plan, do we?
32 laps, and I don't know if the strategy calls for a pit stop or not. And, well, with this being one of the few road courses, 3 of them to be exact, on the season, one team I do want to talk about is Gantry Kingsman Racing. They are they're one of the top organizations in DTM over in Germany. Have signed a partnership with Mercedes to run part-time here in the NSCA Cup Series with Scotsman Jackson McFreeze in the number 14. So, and they are currently running about midfield right now, which is understandable considering this is like only their second or third start. No, third start in the Cup Series proper. So interesting that they're running mid-pack. You'd think a new team with no experience would be running further back, but they've actually done pretty well this season from what I've seen.
I mean, when you get a road course ringer on their type of track, they could do great things.
Yep. Of course, DTM isn't the only series that Jackson has raced. He actually did a brief couple of one-offs in IndyCar. One of the races actually here at this facility, as we see the O2 Takeda actually come down pit road here on lap 4. So, unscheduled pit stop?
Maybe they made some contact with the car earlier in the race, and maybe it cut down a tire.
It's entirely possible. We'll get word to you as the field outside of Takeda is in a Pathfinder Racing sandwich right now. Max O'Quinn, new crew chief this week after, I guess, his crew chief was fired after last week at Pocono. Running at the tail end of the field here while his team owner slash teammate, leads him down. And it looks like Heflin is catching the top two here. It's pulled away from the 62.
Very, very true. The 13 is starting to flex its muscle a little bit. That Monster Energy logo on that hood is very synonymous with a lot of good road course racers.
Yep, both in real life and in universe too.
As you see the pack starting to single file, that arrow, is that an Arrow McLaren?
That is, in fact, an Arrow McLaren, the next team I want to talk about. Theodore Keene got his first career win a couple weeks back at Richmond in a stunning turn of events for Brandon Hancock. Was leading, and funny enough, Brandon Hancock actually running right behind Keene right now. But Hancock got caught up in a late race wreck with lap traffic as he was leading and on track for his first career win. But unfortunately, that contact just sent him plummeting down the order. Once the race got back going, Theodore Keene was able to take the win. McLaren's first win in the NSCA Cup Series, Theodore Keene's first win in the Cup Series. Now here they are, of course, McLaren, a name synonymous with road course racing, both in IndyCar and Formula One. And here they are running in the top 10, so no surprise for them.
Very true. Arrow McLaren is synonymous, especially with that papaya orange, the black, and the blue, with the Google Chrome wheel rims. That's very cool to see.
Chrome rims.
I see what you did there.
That Hey, it was literally what I said in the post that I made on StunOn and Already Digital when I posted the schemes there was chrome rims.
As you see, a couple cars out of that couple corners ago, a couple cars running really wide on the exit of that, maybe just trying to carry a lot of speed. Go forth under pressure right now in that number 44 Ford Mustang.
Yep, that is Sean English, who is a championship contender of his own right. Of course, bridesmaid multiple times to the man who's right behind him, Steven Merzlak. Um, and of course, we have mentioned multiple times this season alone, the whole heartbreak at the end of last year with the fuel mileage gamble in Atlanta not paying off. So, not so no need to really mention it again. But Steven Merzlak is running just outside the top 10 in 11th at the moment. And he's trying to crack that top 10, trying to find some luck. He hasn't had the greatest of luck this year with the new car, but hasn't had the worst either.
It's gonna take a lot of time, and there's that Steven Merzlak is. I've seen him. He can drive. He can wheel a race car. I mean, he's not a championship contender for nothing. Just gonna take time to get used to these race cars, and just gotta have luck go your way.
Not just a championship contender, but a back-to-back champion as well in 2020 and 2021. Right
Very
behind.
true. So you're good. You go.
All right, Ricky Foxon right behind him in 12th. She's doing a pretty good job. Of course, was racing for Craigo Autosport up until last year. She's moved over to Bledsoe Brothers Racing with Alan Bledsoe stepping away from full-time racing, at least in the Cup Series. And now in the renumbered number 8 car with Haas Automation following her. She's actually running pretty good. Not necessarily as strong as the road courses, and yet her first career win came on a road course at the Charlotte Roval, of all places, with Factory Dodge Autosport, which was very infamous for a variety of reasons. That team, of course, no longer in the Cup Series. They were bought out by the Parsley family and are now Parsley Enterprises. As we see Echo Evans Ross, who is running that Amos 43 STP Dodge, further back in the field.
And going back to that number 8, if you look a little bit behind them, you see a little bit of a second. These guys are starting to pull away just a little bit from the back half of the field.
Yeah. In fact, there's actually quite a gap between Samuel Henson Jr. and the number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet and Tyler Blade Runner and number 77 Steven Merzlak Racing Pontiac. And then Right behind him is Brett Kenningberg, uh, another rookie driver this season. Actually won back at Atlanta in a very exciting, thrilling finish. And then it's a further gap back to Sefi Plaxco in the 04s. So, Axiom Racing Union, of course, not very strong. Of course, we see cars now going side by side as we see both Queen City Racing drivers trying to make moves around respective opponents.
Very true. And the 24 ran a little bit wide on exit, had to lift slightly, get out of that so they didn't cause a wreck. Very smart job by the 24.
Yep, Mikey Willard, very smart driver indeed. Actually was leading the standings there for quite a while up until last week at Pocono, where Hunter Kiro, who was today's pole sitter, was able to take over the points lead. So Willard not running strong as we see Robert Dobbs run wide out of that corner there. Now he's going to be open to attack from Dylan Maddox in the 59.
59 looking very strong. Couple cars looking like they're running different lines up there.
Yep. Also, I just realized 4 Mercedes cars in a row. The 14, 57, 38, and 59. All 4 Mercedes, who's joined as the manufacturer this season.
Yeah, look at that. All the Mercedes just sticking together, and it looks like the 14's trying to under siege from, I believe that's the 57.
Correct.
He is currently under siege. 57 tucked up right behind them. I thought he put the bumper to him right there.
I thought he was bump drafting him down the whole straightaway. Oh, as we see one car in the dirt, that is the 0 of Cody Hayner. We're going to have to go back and see what happened there.
Cody Hayner just looks like ran a little bit wide, got into the dirt a little bit, held on. Good save.
We'll see a replay of this with a live ticker. Oh, big checkup there. And just couldn't get slowed down in time, and he locks the brakes and whatnot as he slides, able to keep it out of the gravel trap. So no kitty litter for the 0 car.
Good save by the 0 car. Looked like there's a big stack up there with the 14 and the 59. That caused the whole thing. Then the 0 just was the innocent bystander, ran into the back of the 24 car.
Yep, and now they're running just ahead of their teammate Brajan Stojanovic, who is not doing so well. And now one thing I want to mention is that Ray Takita, who did make that pit stop earlier on lap 4, coming to lap 5, she's nowhere close to being a lap down. That's how long a lap takes. In fact, as Hunter Kiro comes across the line to complete lap 9, his last lap time was a 1:43.4. So
we're almost a second drop off in terms of lap times, and wow, the 84 just missed the corner.
Looks like he was trying to attack on Takiro there. Arnstruff was, and just completely went offline from a lack of grip and downforce as a result. Surprised that the 13 hasn't tried to take advantage as they come through the little chicane here.
Noticed a little bit of tire tracks through the chicane there. Maybe someone went off a little bit earlier. Maybe that's what happened to the guy that pitted earlier. I don't remember the driver at the moment.
Ray Takita.
Yeah, Ray Takita. Maybe that's what happened to Takita. Gonna have to go back and take a look at that maybe later.
Well, I'm not seeing anything on the little thing, so as everyone's getting a little sideways out of that corner there, maybe overestimating the abilities of their car.
Maybe so. As the front half of the field is starting to spread out just a little bit. Everyone getting their own little groups together. 84 still driving the wheels off that car trying to catch the race leader in the 92.
Yep.
92 has just been nice and smooth and consistent, not made many mistakes that we've seen. And the field's coming up the hill and then back down it to cross start finish line as we go through the field.
Yeah, I will say that is one of the main selling points of Cape Cod is the huge hill that makes up the front straightaway here. Most of the track doesn't really have much elevation change, but man, it is very much an elevation change, at least for the front straightaway. It's the key to come off the final corner. Well, the leaders are still going through the first few, so actually, just for speed comparison, her last lap, a 143.3, while Hunter Kira was a 143.2. So actually, still running a bit slower than the leaders.
Oh, only about a tenth, so it's not too drastic.
Yeah, probably a difference in quality of equipment combined with the fact that the tire advantage of 4 laps wasn't that much to begin with, and as if there was any, it equaled out.
And I saw the 23 into that couple corners ago, just entered right on the curbing and made the corner. I think he had to slow down a little bit more than he was anticipating, though.
Yeah, especially out of that right-hand corner, you basically enter the braking zone immediately, and you have to straighten up for that. And Alana Kiro probably got caught up by that as she was trying to get online for that, and probably didn't necessarily enter the corner where she wanted to.
Couple cars just riding it out right now. 92 has started to pull away from the 84 now. Lap before they were like 90, the 84 is right on the back bone of the 92, and now the 92 is just, I'd say, about 4 or 5 car lengths ahead right now.
Yeah, Wolfpack Racing, Wolf have, while they have made a comeback over the past few years, aren't necessarily towards the top of the teams right now. And Pathfinder Racing just been on another level basically since they were formed. So maybe it's just Wolfpack's equipment starting to show its strengths, or lack thereof, I should say, compared to Pathfinder's. Or it could just be that Arnstruff is trying to save his equipment while Hunter's still pushing his. Who knows? Road
Could
courses
be a
are a different beast than ovals.
Definitely, so it could be a combination of multiple different things. Shout out, I just want to point out, Cody Goforth is in his first ever start here in the NSCA Cup Series.
Yeah, and running ninth. Of course, that, like I said, Pathfinder Racing, one of the top teams, has been basically every. In fact, the first season Pathfinder Racing was a team. 2014, Hunter Kiro, the man leading this race, won the championship. Nobody was expecting that to happen, and he just went out and did it. So very much in top level equipment is Cody Goforth. And doing pretty good to hold off the 6 of English and keep up with the 3 of Hancock. Although Cody Goforth, to be fair to him, has also run pretty well in the National Series.
So maybe that experience is helping him over here in Cup. Very big promotion. 13 missed the corner. Here comes the 62. We have a battle on our hands here.
Yep. These guys haven't battled since like lap 3 of this race. Oop, that's not the direction I wanted the camera to go in.
62 on the backbone of the 13, just trying to lead him into a mistake.
Yep.
62 kind of ran a little bit wider than the 13 through the exit of the chicane there.
So did the 84, but I think that was just them trying to get a better line into the second corner there for the chicane right out of that hairpin. And it's helped the 84 a lot. He's pulled away from these guys, but not so much 62 or 13.
62 on the backbone of the 13. 13 makes one mistake, and the 62 is going to pounce. 62 was a little bit lower through that little corner right there. A lot lower through this little sector, and this is good. Then battling might allow the 84 to start pulling away, trying to catch up to that 92, but that 92 is way up the road.
But it's not an insurmountable lead here. So it is a road course. These tracks are notoriously not the greatest for overtakes when it comes to NR 2003. Not to break the fourth wall, but And, well, as we see a lot of spread out cars here, in that basically the entire second group. 77's pulled away from the 82, who's pulled further away from the 04, who's pulled away from the 38, who's pulled away from the 9, who's pulled away from the 14.
14 looks like he's a little bit going to be entering a little bit higher, possibly trying to dime in the corner a little bit, or there's going to be a dive bomb here. 81 looked for it, couldn't get there.
As there's another stack up there, Reinhardt tried to avoid hitting the 14, almost got run over by the 24. Now here comes Willard now side by side with that 81.
Willard going to make that look slightly easy, but the 81's going to have the advantage into this next corner.
Yep. And that's going to open the door for the 99 to get side by side with the 24 ever so briefly, but Willard not giving up. He's going to have the inside line here through that corner, but it's going to lead immediately into the second hairpin. Never mind, not going to matter. Willard clears the 81 before they even get there.
24 made that move look easy. Very impressive.
Well, he didn't just lead the championship standings since basically the second race of the season, until Pocono at least, for nothing. He's been strong, he's been consistent, just not strong on road courses apparently.
Road courses are not everyone's favorite, so that does make sense. It is very difficult to learn these, and I mean you can only get better at them if you do them. But then again, anything can happen on a road course. We've seen it time and time again.
And to go to show you the differences between a DTM car and an NSCA style car, the 14 was really sideways off of that corner a few corners ago. And that's allowed Willard to be right on his back bumper as they come out of the final corner. And the 15-7 is now coming down pit road, so maybe we are going to see pit stops?
Maybe just for fuel, or maybe just trying to put some fresh tires on there, trying to make something happen, because the 57 was pretty far back in the pack.
Yeah, and it looks like he will be taking tires for this stop.
So yeah, the 57 was far back in the pack, so I would think that this might be just a strategy call to hopefully bring the rest of the leaders down to pit road.
Yeah, but if you're not already a front-running car, a strategy call isn't going to help you in the long run. So 4-tire stop, possibly some fuel, and he's down and away. Going to be a little over half a lap down to the leaders.
Very true. Very true. But he will have that fresh tire advantage.
Yep, and it's going to be much more of an advantage than whatever the 02 would have had.
Definitely. Like, I expect to see the 57 start turning some very quick lap times.
Well, we'll see here in the next couple of laps, see what his lap times are like compared to others. Not seeing anybody else go down pit road, so maybe they're all waiting just like us to see what exactly the 57 does.
Because we've seen about a second to a half a second to about a second in terms of just fall off with these tires. So we'll start seeing maybe fresh tires will be king for the 57, as he's already flying.
Of course, lap time was a 2:17. That was because of his piss off. He's still technically on his out lap. That's how long a lap takes here, and why it's only a 32 lap race.
92 got a little bit sideways out of the first hairpin, but able to hang on to it there. Just trying to drive it a little bit harder, trying to pull away from this 84.
Maybe he knows that he needs to make a pit stop. That's the strategy, one-stop race. And he's trying to pull away from the field and try and gap them just in case there's a mistake by the crew or him or something along those lines.
Looks like the 44 actually lost a spot while we were looking through the field.
Yeah, looks like Sean English did get around Cody Goforth.
I talked to Goforth down at the grid before this race. He did admit to me that road courses were not his strong suit, but he's put on a really good showing today. as you see, the zero is actually caught up to a bunch of people. 140. What was that?
It was a 148.
148.
Then again, I think that was also part of the outlap as well.
So this will be his first at full speed lap.
Yeah, this will be the first at speed lap here.
Seems like through turns 1 and 2, the field starts to bunch up a little bit because of the differences in braking. And then you just see them start to spread out again because of the way they accelerate.
Yep. And of course, as close as the field is running here,
Big
contact.
Stack up there. The 7.
Yeah, Eric. I'm gonna put that on Erica Reinhardt because she was trying to. Looks like she was looking to get around the 14, but decided to fall back in line in the middle of the braking zone, and 99 just got caught out by that. As I could have sworn I heard tire screeching from somebody sliding. Oh, as we see another car coming off of pit road, that is a 59, the 57's teammate.
Maybe they're trying to play a strategy. 142.
A 142.7, Hero's last lap, a 144.0. We might be seeing drivers come down pit road potentially here in the next few laps.
2 seconds is the difference in tires at the moment. That is massive.
1.3 seconds, actually.
1.3? Close enough.
Still, that is 1.3 seconds you're gaining on somebody. We don't see anybody come down pit road, so...
Very interesting. Maybe there's crew chiefs and spotters aren't giving them the lap times.
Or they're still trying to hold cards close to their chests. Though that might be more detrimental than anything else. See, Reinhardt's still trying to get around the 14. Looking inside.
Reinhardt just wanted to poke the nose down inside, try to force him into a mistake. Let him know that they were there.
McFree's still got the better run off the corner, so Reinhardt's not going to have any hope of a shot of a look here.
Unless they absolutely send it on the brakes.
Which, let's be honest, knowing the Reinhardt family wouldn't be too far out of the question. Between the pass in the grass, the infamous multiple times where Eric Reinhardt spun the number 5 car at Bristol, the one time where Eric Reinhardt Jr. managed to somehow turn the 42 of Jerry Walker and get his helmet thrown at him. Also at Bristol, coincidentally enough.
Reinhardt was making a look there, got alongside of him, but could not complete the pass.
Which means McFreeze is either blocking like crazy or is just fast enough to where they can't be passed, but slow. Ooh, McFreeze made mistakes there. So there's
Reinhardt in the grass.
That opens the door for Montoya to come storming through here. And McFreeze's mistake may have just cost Reinhardt.
That's not going to make Reinhardt too happy.
No, it is not. Anybody else come down pit road? Yes, the 04 Plexco has come down pit road. So far, we're seeing only one driver come down pit road at a time, as we see Montoya side by side with Reinhardt as they come down the front straightaway.
It's going to be fun to watch into turn 1. First time we've seen people side by side into the braking zone in turn 1.
Outside of the first lap, yeah.
Stack up back there looked like the 2 got run into by the 37.
And they are 3 wide exiting that corner, ever so briefly.
That almost went bad.
Yeah, McFreeze is a lot slower than these guys, I think, but his car is just strong enough to allow him to stay ahead here while everybody else is just scrambling side by side, trying to get around each other. I think the 81 put the boot to the 99, but not going to work out for her here as the 99 Still
99.
frustratingly ahead of the 81 for Erica, or frustratingly for Erica Reinhardt, I should say.
And I just want to shout out, if we go back to the back of that pack, the Zero has made a really nice recovery from that lap 3 spin.
I wouldn't necessarily say nice recovery. He's been passed by his teammate, so he's one spot even further back, but he has caught, or he is still at the tail end of the field, so his teammate really has done a good job of catching stuff. Like his teammate's gone around Max O'Quinn.
Very true. The 12 and 37 side by side. Looks like we have a battle up there. Reinhardt's making a move on the 99. Oh no, the 99 made a move on the 14. Reinhardt got the boot.
And the 7's gotten around the 30, or excuse me, 81, only to come down pit road.
Pit stops. Wow, okay.
Multiple cars come down this time by.
Multiple cars from the front.
Everybody in the front of the field's down.
Entire field came down pit road.
I think Reinhardt now has the lead.
Oh my
god. No,
gosh.
she does not. I believe the 60 is now leading the field. Actually, no, it's showing Cole Dillon in 37, so he's already been on pit road. So yeah, Reinhardt is the leader, as we see Evans Ross and Ian Wallace briefly side by side. Wallace will take the spot. But it just to go and show you just how far back these guys were. They're only barely ahead of the leaders who just pitted.
The 92 had a great pit stop compared to the 84.
No, you know who lost out on pit road? The 62. He was running, where the 15 currently is, fourth. But you know who had a great pit stop? That's 6-car Sean English. He's side by side now with Fedor Keen, who was like 2 spots ahead of him, and actually passes Fedor here.
Fedor really slow on the exit there.
Yeah.
44 really lost out.
Not by much. Only by maybe 2 cars at most. As we see Foxon and Hancock side by side through the chicane.
Having a massive battle here. 2 very infamous numbers, I will say.
Speaking of the Reinhardts.
Speaking of the Reinhardts.
As we see Evans, Ross, and Hayner not come down pit road, but Reinhardt and Wallace do. So that's going to hand the lead to the 43 car.
Evans Ross to the race lead, trying to play a strategy. The 0 is into second now. On a different strategy than everybody else's because of that lap 3 spin.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a different strategy, just he didn't pit even though he did spin. And Sean English is on a mission. He's already caught the 15 and looking to get around that Mobile 1 Dodge here.
Sean English looking really strong on new tires. Looks like English might have a better car on the new tires than the old tires. But then again, can that be said for everyone because they're definitely going to be running a lot quicker?
Who knows? But does Hunter Kiro try to make a pass on these guys that were running towards the tail end of the field before they come down pit road, or does he play the patient game, wait for them to move out of the way of their own volition?
I think he might only get the 0. I don't think he's going to get up to that 43.
Well, speaking of getting up to people, the 15 has run away from the 6 and has gotten up to the 13.
Just battles back and forth. It's getting very hectic right now as people are starting to get closer and closer to each other. 44 just mind his own business back there as we have a huge pack of just cars drafting together and another just pack because of the people that are that pitted a little bit later there.
Something DRS train.
Something DRS train. And the 43 and 0 do not pit this time, and the 92 is going to get to the inside of the 0, going to clear for P2.
Yep. And depending on how slow Hayner is, that might be beneficial to the 92, detrimental to 84 and everybody behind. Or it could be just as detrimental to 92, depending on Well, really depends on the 0 and the 43 whether the 92 is going to have a huge benefit or detriment while running against these guys on older rubber.
Looks like the 92 already lost a little bit of ground to the 84 because of that dirty air. That's something that we got to keep in mind. Dirty air here. Cars do not like the dirty air, especially with this car tomorrow wing.
Yeah.
Because these cars punch a massive hole in the air, and it causes cars to not drive well. So it looks like everyone's in dirty air at the moment. And the 6 has caught the 15 once again.
It's like a fucking tug of war there between the 13 and the 6 to see who gets the race with the 15.
For real, it's hilarious.
As the 84 has caught the 0 and looks to be held up by Hayner here. As the 92 has caught the 43, and once again, the 43 does not pit. Neither does the 0.
Is 92 gonna try to make a run on the outside?
I mean, Kiro has the tires, but the 43 has the inside lane, and the 43
He's gonna pinch him. Oh, look at the brake! Oh my goodness!
Man.
92's gonna have. Wow, look at this pack.
They are 3 wide.
With the lap car on the outside, it's not gonna end well.
I wouldn't say lap car, but yeah.
I mean, just about lapped.
Whoa, contact!
84 gets shipped off the road.
Just about, yeah. And here comes English in the middle of all this.
Where did English come from?
Detroit? Haha, references.
Nice one, nice one.
Kiro has pulled away from the 43, by the way, in the midst of all this. Hayner is really struggling, and it is showing as he is now being passed by Theodore Keene, Jacob Crago, RJ Bishop's up next in line.
It was an honorable attempt by Hayner, but if he doesn't pit this lap, he's messing up.
Yeah. By the way, we are within 10. Actually, we are at 10 to go now.
Wow.
Lap 23 out of 32.
Now the 43 is going to be right on the inside.
Oh, contact! 43 is in the wall. That's going to bring out the caution. As the 0 does come down pit road.
The 3 just stopped. But did the 0 make it to pit road before the caution came out?
No, because he was just starting to pull off to head towards the pit road. 43 does come down pit road as well, but as we saw at Daytona, though, just because it comes down pit road when caution comes out does not necessarily mean you get penalized. And big story, though, Kiro did not make it to the line before the caution came out either. So this does change the race just ever so slightly.
This is going to pack the field back up once again.
The big beneficiaries, though, are these guys back here, the ones who pitted a while back, because they're going to be able to catch right back up with the field. And now, granted, they were far enough back to where Hayner was able to still come out ahead of them.
I guess that strategy for Hayner kind of worked out well.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and take a look here at what happened to the 43. It is going to take a little while to get back there. All right, so penultimate turn here. Side by side with the 13.
43 hits the curb, washes into 13. 13 nowhere to go. 43 the curb just shot the 43 to the right.
Maybe in a moment of desperation, Echo thought she could, gun the throttle, try and hold off the 13, but just the car washed up, like I said, off that curb and just came up into the 13 and
Great
Just
save by 13, by the way.
yeah, I think he actually was able to hold on to the spot too, as both English and the 13 take evasive actions. Echo just slams that outside wall. No protection of any sort there. No tires, no safer barrier, no Tech Pro barriers. Although I think Tech Pro would be kind of useless for stock cars. So not the greatest there, as it looks like the 8 and the 3 just slam on the brakes.
Turns 3 just turns into the 44. Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, taking evasive action, so I understand it.
which is interesting because the 43 was offline. Like they could have easily just went through and whatnot. They
I mean,
basically let the 43 get to pit road here.
I
Which
think they were. I mean, the 43 got close to the 3, so I really feel like the 3, had he not hit the brake, would have hit the 43.
yeah, because the 43 basically just drove straight back across the track. So it'll be interesting to see if there will be a penalty from the NSCA levied against that team for that or not.
But this is gonna make a take what was turning to be a dominated race by the 92. Now it could be anyone's race in this top 5, really.
Yep. Of course, with as strong
And
as Kiro has been,
Hero has been the strongest car all day, so I really don't see him losing much time. But remember, what we've seen a couple times in the back of the pack when it comes to turn 1, when they're bunched up together, just start packing up, and someone's going to end up pile driving someone else, and it's going to cause an accident.
and that'll just
So,
bring the caution right back out, of course.
so I honestly don't think we're done wrecking yet.
Something cautions breed cautions, anyone?
I mean, it's true though. Cautions do breed cautions. So this is gonna be very interesting. Looks like the lights out on the pace car?
Lights have been out on the pace car. We are on the one to go signal, hence the reason why I've not accelerated through this caution.
So a quick little caution, probably no debris to clean up. So just gonna get back going here.
Yep.
This is gonna be interesting to see how turn 1 happens here with everybody all bunched up at once.
Speaking of bunching up, it looks like the 92 is trying to bunch the field back up and bring them down slowly, which is something we usually see in like IndyCar or
Super
Formula One, not necessarily stock car racing. So
maybe just trying to get a jump on the rest of the field here as they come off the final corner. Down the long front straightaway, 92 starting to pull away from them ever so slightly, trying to creep up in front, trying to test the limits, and the field is coming up the hill and to the crest, and green flags back in the air racing again.
yep. Of course, drivers were told do not go until you see that green flag or the green lights around the track come on, and English is going to make a move on the 13 as they come through turn 1 and into turn 2. Heflin's going to try and fight back.
English was a man on a mission during that end of that little run there, but he needs to clear that 13 quickly. Looks like everybody makes it through turns 1 and 2 safely.
Yep.
English is gonna clear the 13, and looks like he might have a chance again to the 92. And this is just a
I heard,
hornet's nest back here.
yeah, I heard crunches. I was trying to see if anybody was wrecking.
13 trying to stick it on the outside, but English is gonna be clear. And now, does English have the car to possibly get to that 92?
Well, with English being basically on a mission from God, to quote the Blues Brothers.
Because he is flying right now. He's already closing in. He's a lot closer than anybody else was that end of the run.
Yep. Of course, it helps when two cars that still need to pit aren't in the way.
Very true. Very true.
Although English probably would not have a shot at the win here if it wasn't for that very exciting action that where Cody Hayner finally got basically moved out of the way.
Very true.
So we are coming the 6 laps to go now here as Kiro leads English to Heflin to Arnstruff to Cox for your top 5.
English with a big, really late on the brakes there, gained a little bit of time, but I don't know if it's gonna end up working well. If he does that every time, he might close in ever so slightly. He's still closing the gap.
Down the second big straightaway, down to turn 3.
English again late on the brakes.
Now through 4 and 5. And through turn 6, what I now realize is actually turn 6. Now through the hairpin in turn 7. It's hard to tell who has the better car.
I think English has the 92 on the really hard braking zones, but the 92 just has the faster car overall.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because English closes in a lot, but then loses it whenever it comes to the acceleration. '92 trying to hang on for dear life, just trying to do everything his power, has dominated this race up to this point.
Yep, led most of the race. And Kira would be the first driver to get a multiple race win season going here, because we've had 7 different winners in 7 different races thus far. 5 to go now.
5 laps remaining. Go forth, right on back bumper. That 3 car hasn't gone around him yet, but has been right there.
First lap up to speed, 42.5, 42.5 for the cars and the lead. Kiro just ever so slightly faster than English. In fact, that was English's fastest lap all race long.
So English trying to I think you start pushing this car now if you're English. Like, you give it everything you got.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Kiro, with that fresh, clean air that he's been in all race long, his fastest lap, a 42.3. Like I said, English just ran a 42.5, and that was his fastest lap all race.
2/10 difference, but then again, that 92 did run that earlier in the race.
Yeah.
And the 92 did have to burn some of his stuff trying to pass the 0 and the 43 earlier. And I don't think English had to. I think English only made like one move, and that was that 3 wide right for the caution.
Yeah, but he has had to burn through some of his equipment to pass other drivers, like Theodore Cox, Cody Goforth, Craigo, and I think Bishop as well, further back in the field.
That was also before the pit stops. I'm talking about on these fresh set of tires that they just took.
I think with the exception of Goforth, all those were on these fresh tires.
Maybe so. English is just losing time on the straightaways. The 92's really good off that final corner. But what a drive by the 6. Hard on the brakes.
I think this is the closest he's been all race long. In fact, he's just set his new personal best, 42.4. Still a 42.5 for Kiro. In fact, it's almost a 42.6 for Kiro. Well, it's only because it's a 42.59 and compared to a 42.45. So English was faster that last lap.
English is starting to turn up the wick right now, but he's getting really sideways through a lot of these corners.
Yeah,
that can't be good for the tires.
Not only good for the tires, but also not good for the acceleration.
As you see, the 92 starting to pull away. I'm telling you, it's the higher speed portions. I think there's just enough of them for the 92 to maintain the lead.
Yeah, don't be fooled by the fact that these are 142s that they're running here, folks. This is a very quick circuit. There'll be 3 to go at the line. To come through the third to last corner now. Heflin looking for yet another podium finish this season.
English is there though. English, this is the closest he's been on this front straightaway the entire race. Can he make something happen into the braking zone? He's been very strong into the turn 1 braking zone.
Yep. Lap times across the line 42.6 compared to a 42.2. Or, excuse me, 42.6 as well. But it was in the hundredths, 0.05 difference. Edge goes to Kiro that time by. So,
Kiro's
yes.
starting to pull away a little bit more now. Sorry.
No worries.
Kiro just trying to pull ever so much away from English and is doing a really nice job. Kiro has been up front the entire day, has done everything right. And now he's just gotta hang on for what, like 3 more laps?
Yep, 2.5 roughly.
About 2.5 laps for Hunter Kiro to pull away, but English has had a heck of a day, man. What a
Yeah.
day he's had.
And something I've also noticed, the English is sliding a little less out of the corners this lap.
Very true, but 92's just still pulling away right now. His Kiro pulled away in comparison to how it was the last time by through these last 2 corners.
Well,
I don't think English has the time, because it's going to take a couple laps to actually set up a pass, and we're coming to 2 to go right here.
yep.
So if you're English, you would want to be right on the back bumper of Kiro, but Kiro's just done a really good job all day long. That 92 has been strong.
Yep. 42.7 compared to a 42.8. So yeah, Kiro definitely pulling away here, as you were saying. So maybe English took it a little too easy around that lap. Because as I mentioned, he wasn't sliding around as much as Kiro, or even himself, the previous lap, 2 laps ago.
Very true. English might start sliding it out again, trying to drive it back up, because I think his crew chief at Spa is saying it's time to go. You got 2 to go now. This is the time when you start giving it everything your car has left.
And hope that the cars ahead of you don't have anything left.
Exactly. Like, if you got it, use it. Simple as that right now.
Pretty much. So we see actually the entire top 3 pull away from the rest of the field here, Heflin included there. And can we just mark a moment, or take a moment to commend Heflin for the consistency he has shown this season? Sure, he doesn't have a win yet. Sure, he hasn't had as strong as seasons as he had in the past, but he's been consistent. And to quote Barney Hall from the old NASCAR Thunder games, consistency is what wins championships. And if Kiro falters later in the season, and if Heflin is able to continue what he's doing, that's going to get him much better results than what Kiro can do.
Very, very true.
By the way, we're on the last lap.
Yeah, white flag in the air one more time around. This is going to be an interesting finish. Can English close in at all? Try to get to him. He's driving it in deep.
Yep, of course, anything can happen on these. Kiro could lose an engine. English could lose an engine. You just don't know until you have crossed that finish line with the checkered flag waving. It is not over until that has happened.
Kiro just wants to traverse this last lap. Not carefully, but carefully enough to where he doesn't go off track.
It's no Sunday drive, but it isn't, far off from basically a parade lap either.
Very true. You got to run a qualifying lap at this point. You got to run a qualifying lap.
English, maybe. Kiro just needs to run a consistent lap.
Very true, very true.
2 corners to go. I don't think English is going to do it. I think Kiro is going to take the victory.
Here through the second to last corner here. Here he comes. He can coast from here through the final corner. Hunter Kiro, dominant fashion, is gonna take the win here in Cape Cod. What a drive!
English second, Heflin third. Armstrong's going to hold off for fourth. Cox fifth. As the rest of the field now flies down the front straightaway, quite literally for some.
And then others are just gonna be like, "I'm here."
Ooh, side
Side
by
by side across the line.
Ilana Kiro edges out Erica Reinhardt for that. And that is the race. Trego, Keene, Bishop, Fox, and Vaughn, Hancock, Goforth, Merzlak, Sparks, and Lamas, the rest of the top 15. So that was not a barn burner by any means, but it was still exciting.
It did get exciting there at the end, especially with that late race yellow.
Yeah, tough break for Echo Evans Ross, but when you're trying to defend a position as hard as she was, just if it's a lesson learned for future races. I mean, she is still a rookie. Tough break for Jackson McCrees. I know we talked about them earlier, but they actually finished 37th out of 38 drivers. So tough break for them.
Very true. What a race, man! That was awesome.
So that was Cape Cod. So interesting track to be on the schedule. Cody, what were your thoughts of the track?
It was a very interesting track. It made passing very difficult, but it was very exciting to see nonetheless. So I'm excited to see what happens next season. Next time we come back to this 2.74 mile road course.
Oh, I'm sorry. Apparently, the turn we initially said was turn 6 is actually turn 8. The turn that I corrected myself to say was turn 6 is actually turn 7. Apparently, turn 1 is a little kink on the front straightaway.
I was thinking that was turn 1. I didn't want to count it as turn 1, but I was like,
I
don't
mean,
know.
if they count the left-hand kink at Austria leading into the second big braking zone as turn 2, then, I mean, yeah, it kind of makes sense they would count this as turn 1.
Yeah.
Anyways, but, I kind of like the track. I kind of like the race here, but,
Yeah, no, it's a very good track. I like it.
It was decent for an NR 2003 road course race.
Definitely so.
Anyways, but that's all from Cape Cod. Next time out, it's going to be Pensacola Super Speedway, the high bank 3-mile oval that is powered by the Action Packed Tracks family of tracks. Should be a good race there. Anyways, but like I said, that's all from Cape Cod. From Cody Goforth and myself, Jacob Crago. Thank you again, Cody, for joining me.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
Anyways, we'll see y'all at the next race. So long, everybody.